Tamadam Buddha Mapau Mabiang Mimi Aluluda Layan Alonso no Diadogo Gororain Dimino Mubi Tado Dada Bagawado To Shwebono the Campiashin Goromiaji A Namo Kaya was Imano Chile Only Dwara Bana Mapian Jiswadara Sheko Garolaija Bagon E Ashimpaya Sadhu 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 Yobudo Jinswa Kebido Gona Bound in a Bizona Mure Payashin Goromia Jiri Ati Tinshamadwi Shiro Muge Babi Dobudo to Swakebido Gona Bound in a Bizona Mure Payashin Goromia Jiri Oh, Domagan Yani Yaku Nina Piabia Siwi Layoja Begono Adendiana Preta Bound Rogono A Dabera Neo Nyaba Akakade Duoti Go Sinepia Jama Chana Jendi Ho do Bondu Causa Madui Pinain Jaba Segon Dari. I'm very happy to have all of you gathered here to listen to this Dhamma talk. My talk today is the Sabbasava Sutta, found in Majjhima Nikaya, Mula Banasa Pali. The Buddha delivered this discourse to the bhikkhus at Jedavana monastery in Savatthi. The Buddha said, Jana do aham bhikkhave basa do Asawana Kayang Warami No A Jana Do No Abasa Do Kinja Bhikkhave Jana Do Kinja Pasa Do Asawana Kayang Warami Yoni Soja Manasi Karam Ayoni soja manasi karang Ayoni so bhikkhave manasi karodo Anupana jiva Asawa obe jandi Obanaja Asawa bhavodandi Yoni soja ko bhikkhave manasi karodo Anu Pangna jiwa asawa na obejandi obanaja asawa bahiyanti sadhu sadhu sadhu. Monks, the ending of the Taints is for one who knows and sees. I tell you, not for one who does not know and does not see. For one who knows what and sees what. Wise intention and unwise intention. When a monk attends unwisely, unreasoned taste arise, and a reasoned taste increase. When a monk attends wisely, unreasoned taste do not arise, and recent taints are abandoned. What are these taints? Defilements, permutations, intoxicants, or asavas. There are 4 kinds of asavas. The taint of sensuality, kamasava. The taint of becoming, bhavasava, clinging to rebirth. The taint of wrong view, daitasava. The taint of ignorance, avijja sava. The Visuddhimagga mentioned that asavas are exuding from unguarded sense doors, like water from cracks in a pot, in the sense of constant trickling. The asavas produce the suffering of the round of rebirth. Only the Arhat has eradicated the asavas. For us, the asavas keep on trickling from unguarded sense doors. Even at this moment, because of clinging, we have to be reborn again and again. Before, we may not have understood that being reborn again and again is suffering. But with knowing and seeing, we may begin to see the suffering and the cycle of birth and death. The Buddha prescribed 7 methods of overcoming taints. Taints to be abandoned by insight. Taints to be abandoned by restraining. Taints to be abandoned by judicious use. Taints to be abandoned by tolerating. Taints to be abandoned by avoidance. Taints to be abandoned by removing. Taints to be abandoned by development. How do we overcome taints? By insight. This is how he attains unwisely. Was I in the past? Was I not in the past? What was I in the past? How was I in the past? Having been what? What was I in the past? Shall I be in the future? Shall I not be in the future? What shall I be in the future? How shall I be in the future? Having been what? What shall I be in the future? Or else, he is confused about the immediate present. Am I? Am I not? What am I? How am I? Where has this being come from? Where is it bound? In this way, one of 6 kinds of wrong views, deity arises in him as true and real. I have a self. I have no self. By myself alone do I know the self. By myself alone do I know the non-self. By my non-self alone do I know the self. Whatever this self is in me, that speaks, that feels, that experiences, now here, now there. The result of the good and evil deeds. This self in me is permanent, constant, eternal, not subject to change, and will last for eternity. Petted by this wrong view of a personality, the untrained ordinary person is not freed from birth, from aging, from death, from despair. That is to say, he is not freed from suffering. How do we get rid of this personality view, Sakaya deity? Only a disciple who has confidence in the noble ones and are skilled and trained in their Dhamma. So, what is the Dhamma as taught by the noble ones, Ariyas? It is the Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth, the noble truth of suffering, Dukkha, Ariya, Satya. The five aggregates are the first noble truth, materiality and four mentality aggregates. One, Kintisan. These five aggregates through the practice of Vipassana meditation. The second noble truth, the origins of suffering, Dukkha, Samudaya, Satya, which is the wind origination when a disciple discerns. The wind origination according to the instructions of the Buddha. He fully understands the relationship between cause and effect. He can gain Vipassana knowledge, which knows that the first cause produces the present effect, and that the present cause produces the future effect. He knows that within the three periods, past, present, and future, there is no creator to create an effect, and that there is nothing which occurs without a cause. He can see past lives and future lives. Which type of unwholesome karma produces reward in the woeful realms, and which type of wholesome karma produces reward in the good realms. The third noble truth, the cessation of suffering, dukkha, nirodha, ariya, sajja. In discerning divine origination, a disciple discerns the cause and effect and future, lives and sees the cessation of mentality, materiality. He knows fully when his mentality, materiality will cease. This is the third noble truth. The noble truth of the cessation of suffering. The fourth noble truth, the way leading to the cessation of suffering, dukkha nirodha gamini padivara ariya sajja. The Buddha taught noble eightfold path to reach the state of cessation. Right view, samadhi, right thought, sama sankappa, right speech, sama vaja, right action, sama kamanda. Right livelihood, sama ajiva. Right effort, sama vayama. Right mindfulness, sama sati. Right concentration, sama samadhi. To cultivate samatha vipassana based on morality sila is to cultivate the noble eightfold path. When a disciple attains the Sotapaddi Magga through his practice of samatha vipassana diligently, according to the instruction of the noble ones, the three fetters of personality, view, sakaya, deity, skeptical doubt, vijikiccha, and attachment to rites and ritual, silavada, paramasa are fully removed. The Buddha also advised that associating with good and virtuous persons, sapurisa, one thinks well, speaks well, acts well, has right views, undertakes meditation, samatha and vipassana, and well reappear in good realms after death. I encourage all of you to meditate daily as per schedule at Pa-Auk to remove your taints by seeing the Four Noble Truths in order to attain Nirvana, which is free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. How do we overcome taints? By restraining. By restraining here means the self-controlling of the faculties of sense doors. The six sense doors of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. From the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, our sense doors are constantly open with sights, sounds, taste, touch, and thoughts. We need all six sense doors to be able to function daily. And it is through the restraint of these six senses that we overcome our taste. The things that we see, sounds that we hear, smells that we smell, taste when we eat, etc., are not unwholesome on their own. It is our attachments to these objects that are unwholesome. Let's say you see a flower. You judge the flower as beautiful and sweet, and pleasant feelings rise. You hope the flower will be beautiful forever. You have attachment to the flower. You are sad when the flower starts to fade. It decays and takes on a bad smell. Aversion to the flower rises, and you quickly get rid of it. The mental defilements of attachment and aversion rose because of greed and hatred, lobha and dosa. The fault does not lie in the flower, nor does it lie in the side of the flower. The fault lies in our mental process of labeling it desirable or undesirable. To overcome our taste, we guard our sense doors with mindfulness. That is to say, proper intention not to dwell in perceiving the object as desirable or undesirable. And through the practice of samatha and vipassana meditation, our taste can be removed fully. I encourage all of you to meditate daily as per schedule at PAMC. To remove your taste by restraining the six sense doors of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, in order to attain nirvana, which is free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. How do we overcome taste? By judicious use. The Buddha's admonishment for the bhikkhus. Here, a bhikkhu, reflecting wisely, uses the robe only for protection from cold, from heat, from contact with gadflies or mosquitoes, from wind and sun, from creeping things, and for the purpose of concealing the private parts. Reflecting wisely, he uses alms food neither for amusement, nor for intoxication, nor for the sake of physical beauty and attractiveness, but only for the endurance and continuance of this body, for ending discomfort and for assisting the holy life, considering. Thus, I shall terminate all feelings without arousing new feelings, and I shall be healthy and blameless, and shall live in comfort. Reflecting wisely, he uses the resting places only for protection from cold, for protection from heat, for protection from contact with gadflies, mosquitoes, wind, the sun, and creeping things, and only for the purpose of ordering of the fairest of climate and for enjoying retreat. Reflecting wisely, he uses the medicinal requisites only for protection from reason, afflicting feelings, and for the benefit of good health. During meditation retreats, lay yogis are also advised to observe these reflections. The taints or asavas can be abandoned by judicious use of requisites. I encourage all of you to meditate daily as per schedule at Pa-Auk to remove your taints by judicious use of the four requisites of wearing, alms food, dwelling in medicine, in order to nirvana, which is free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. How do we overcome taste? By tolerating. Here, a bhikkhu, reflecting appropriately, enjoys and tolerates cold, heat, hunger, and thirst, contact with flies and mosquitoes, wind, sun, and snakes. He tolerates ill-spoken and unwholesome words and bodily feelings that, when they arise, are painful, wrecking, sharp, fierce, and disagreeable, displeasing, and dangerous to life. At PMC, you are very lucky. You can control the heat and cold with the air conditioning. No? And you do not have to bear with hunger or thirst. No flies or snakes. Okay, no? Okay. In the monasteries in Myanmar, it is not so conducive. But yogis continue to meditate, regardless of the conditions with endurance. After sitting in meditation for some time, you may get pain in your legs. You should try to feel the pain and it may go away. Or someone says not nice things to you, you should try to tolerate rather than pick a quarrel. The taints or asavas can be abandoned by tolerating these unpleasant feelings. I encourage all of you to meditate daily as per schedule, where at Pa-Auk, to remove your taints by enduring the unpleasant feelings of cold, heat, hunger, and thirst. Contact with flies and mosquitoes, the wind, sun, and snakes, harsh speech, physical and mental pains, in order to attain nirvana, which is free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. How do we overcome taints? By avoidance. There is the case where a monk, reflecting appropriately, avoids a wild elephant, wild horse, wild bull, wild dog, snake, a stump, a bramble patch, a chasm, a cliff, a cesspool, and open sewer. Reflecting appropriately, he avoids sitting in the sorts of unsuitable seats, wandering to the sorts of unsuitable places, and associating with the sorts of bad friends that would make his knowledgeable prince in the holy life suspect him of evil conduct. Sometimes it may be a good idea to avoid rather than to enjoy certain situations. You all would know better than to go close to wild and fierce enemies and lose your life. Or go to a dangerous place where you may tumble and fall and get yourself or dirty and smelly, or go to unsuitable places like the bar or pub where people go to have intoxicating drinks or mixing with bad friends, as you may be secure of being like them. When we avoid, we will not be faced with situations which may cause us harm and danger. I encourage all of you to meditate daily as per schedule at Pa-Auk to remove your taints by avoiding wild, fierce, animals, unsuitable places, in bad company, in order to attain nirvana, which is free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. How do we overcome taints? By removing. There is the case where a monk, reflecting appropriately, does not tolerate in reason thought of sensuality, kama vipaka. He does not tolerate in reason thought of ill will. He does not tolerate in reason thought of cruelty or violence. He does not tolerate reason evil, unskillful mental qualities. He abandons them, destroys them, despairs them, and wipes them out of existence when sensual thoughts arise. You should recognize it and know that it is unwholesome. Do not dwell or get carried away by them sensual thoughts. You can overcome ill will and cruelty or violence with metta, loving kindness. Recognize any unwholesome thoughts as they arise. Reflect that they are unwholesome and remove them from your mental process. I encourage all of you to meditate daily as per schedule at Pa-Auk to remove your taste by removing thoughts of sensual desire, thoughts of ill will, thoughts of cruelty or violence, in order to attain nirvana, which is free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. How do we overcome taste? By development. Overcoming of taste by development leads to the attainment of arhatship. There is the case where a monk, reflecting appropriately, he develops mindfulness as a factor for awakening. He develops analysis of qualities as a factor for awakening. He develops persistence as a factor for awakening. He develops rapture as a factor for awakening. He develops serenity as a factor for awakening. He develops concentration as a factor for awakening. He develops equanimity as a factor for awakening, which are dependent on seclusion, dependent on dispersion, dependent on cessation, resulting in letting go. These are the 7 factors of enlightenment as taught by the Buddha. I encourage all of you to meditate daily as per schedule at Pa-Auk to remove your taints by developing the 7 enlightenment factors of mindfulness, sati, sambojjhanga, investigation of states, dhamma, vijaya, sambojjhanga, energy, viriya, sambojjhanga, rapture, piti, sambojjhanga, tranquility, passaddhi, sambojjhanga, concentration, samadhi, sambojjhanga, in equanimity, ubekha, sambojjhanga. In order to attain nibbana, which is free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Conclusion. When a monk trains, that should be abandoned by CM, by restraining, by judicious use, by tolerating, by avoiding, by removing, and by developing have been abandoned accordingly, then he is called a monk who dwells restrained with the restraint of all the taints. He has sufficient craven thrown off the fetters, and through the right penetration of conceit has made an end of suffering, attain nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sharing my merit, I will say like Pali in Myanmar, no follow. Tisito me yanda mo bodhe na hisa basito. Dina sabi sukha yandu. Sana eita mingino. Bodhina aranda sudayambu gain to name me gorama piachin kuro myaji. Ahisa badido. Tangarain bia bia dada. Tiga yusu yui. Ho jaro muado ayandamo I Sabbasava Sutta Dedanaro Myago Didido Dize Masi Jinze Iya Nepi Kaunsa Madui Ho jaro mugeba baby Dina Toto Sibu Dhamadana Kudo Tujao Dina Toto Sibu Dhama Dawana Kudo Tujao that be Jume Odon Katengono Sana Dadawa Huna Lubiama Baumia Swadodi Eta the Mengino Mimido Alusia the Mia Eta Twidwi Cheti Mula Mumuro Ne Duka Yandu Yenigasa Nivan Yadi Bawade Ang Seishan Lanui Chanjan Mama Chanjan Dada ရှိတော်မူနိုင်ကြပါစေကုန်တည်းသာဓုသာဓုသာဓုဟုတ်ကဲ့လားအင်းနော်Okay, you can ask any question. Do you have any question about the Sabbasava Sutta? I have to go Badan tomorrow. Oh.
So, Bhante, as lay people, how do we cultivate and develop this removing of the taints? Lay people. This teaching was given to the monks, right? This teaching was taught to the monks. So for lay people,
Okay,
how do we
all of you,
the same?
all of you,
Yeah.
monk and layman, including all,
Yeah. So which
including all.
Okay.
We need to practice according to the Buddha said.
Okay.
No?
So I think most important is to develop the wise attention, right? So can you guide us to develop this wise attention?
Wise intention. Okay, here you can see again. Wisely. Wisely intention demand. Here explain. Here demand. Yoni somni sikara. Genius. Kan. Yoni so manasikara. Here explain. When a monk intends unwisely, unreason taste arise and reason taste increase. When a monk intends wisely, unreason taste do not arise and reason tastes are abandoned. Here explain. Monks, the end of the taste is for one who knows and sees. I tell you, not for one who does not know and does not see. For one who knows what and sees what. A wise intention and unwise intention. No? When a monk intends unwisely, reason taste arise, and reason taste increase. When a monk intends wisely, reason taste do not arise, and reason taste are abandoned. This is explanation.
The five faculties like eyes, ears, nose, yeah. How he can how on seeing he can restrain his the five sense doors, yeah.
Okay, you need to understand, no? Oh, I want to encourage to meditate. You can meditate, no? You can meditate, no? Your intention is wisely intention, maybe wisely intention, no? You meditate, no? Already you meditate, no? Your mind is wisely intention. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Wise intention or unwise intention? Breath in, out, breath out. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. we can control our senses. No? We can control. Because of this reason, we need to meditate daily. No? Upper schedule at PMC. Welcome. Always. Welcome. Always. Okay, no? Sadhu. Sadhu.